Istetannes Willblunderfield så sitt.
I am shameless. I am fearless. I am doubtless.
Shameless.
Fear in the present moment is fear. Fear in the past is shame. Fear in the future is doubt. So when you cup another dude's nuts, you're sending good vibrations, good chi, spiraling up the back, down the front of each testicle.
Oh yeah, baby!
They're your batteries. So when you focus on your testicles, you're literally charging your batteries. And of course, you're probably the first guy in your family lineage who's doing this, at least for hundreds of years. So of course the shame's gonna come up. Of course the fear is gonna come up, and of course the doubt's gonna come up. So I always just tell my students, say, what do your balls feel like right now? Smile into that feeling. Really staying grounded in your nuts and your body. And your
course.
Good. And then you reach for the nuts, and you basically cup the nuts, and you appreciate the nuts. Can you kind of feel the Reiki energy leaving my palm chakra into your ball sack? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we take 3 deep breaths through the mouth.
Amazing.
And then you say,
I see you, brother.
I see you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And then you give them a hug.
You smell good.
Thanks, man. You smell pretty good, too.
My name is Willblunderfield. We're in my apartment in Vancouver, Canada, and I teach sexual kung fu. So it's the daily discipline of harnessing and directing your sexual energy from your loins up into the rest of your system rather than constantly just shooting it out like most guys do. Some people are like, well, you're saying that, you should love yourself as you are. Why are you encouraging guys to grow their cocks? But I'm just saying, let your cock and your balls fully exist in the form that they're meant to exist in beyond the poisoning. The sad truth is that cock size is the smallest it's ever been in recorded history. So my holistic approach is a 3-pillar thing. It's about getting the pesticides and the microplastics out of your body through superfoods and detoxification protocols. Then it's actually sexual kung fu techniques, like literally like taking the coconut oil and milking your...
Giving advice for longer go.
My balls used to be the size of like slightly bigger than an almond, and now they're both the size of like a Brazil nut. And it's great to be able to feel that. And it's also great to be able to lengthen the penis. Easiest way to really come into the penis in terms of lengthening it, you literally just make an OK grip and you just pull it down. The penis and the tongue are the outermost extensions of the heart. In classical Chinese medicine, you're just like, Traditionally, you sit naked. My teacher, Montauk Chia, taught me this.
Later on, we're going to talk a lot about screwing technique.
Literally focus your consciousness into your nuts because energy flows where the mind goes. There's also something that my teacher, Troy Casey, taught me. It's called testicle slapping. So you do this for maybe 2 minutes, not too hard, not too easy, just right. Mixing the blood in the chi in your balls, increasing your testosterone, which will increase your men.
I think this works in the winter though. It literally shrunk.
And then you take the energy of nature. Okay, so I don't know why I flushed the toilet, force of habit, but anyway. So this is Shivambu.
What drink it. Okay, that's taking too far.
Good.
I'm not doing
I got
that.
my beard. I eat carrots, organic carrots, because they make me feel good. I drink my piss because it makes me feel good.
The only technique it works is by surgery. Cut off the ligaments at the penis.
Tell us what same-sex erotic bonding is.
Yeah, same-sex erotic bonding is when 2 men or a group of men come together to do things that this culture would say would be like homosexual. For example, 2 men hugging heart to heart with the cocks touching, breathing, and doing our best to stay in a parasympathetic state of being rather than going into stress mode.
The first time was definitely really challenging to really be present with actually observing my brother's body and being present with him watching me. The more you do it though, the more you spend time with each other too, the more you can actually just observe and witness the person for everything they've gone through. It's no different than any other part of their body, so why not give them some appreciation, send them some love.
Brother, you've got a beautiful cock.
You got a beautiful cock, baby.
Thanks, brother.
Gotcha.
And then you hug heart to heart because the heart is on the left side of the body with the cocks touching.
When I started hanging out with these guys, it's not just Will, there's other people in Vancouver who are also engaging in these kind of practices. My assumption was like, oh, they must be gay. Oh, they must want something from me. It took a few years to finally build that trust with these guys that, oh, they're not trying to like subtly manipulate me, and maybe they are gay underneath, but they're not acknowledging it.
Whether we call ourselves
You say
gay or
they're
straight
not
or
gay?
trans, like we think that these labels make
I
us
know,
all so
man.
unique and that they're so important, when really to me they're
It's
just
very
tools that the
homosexual to
Matrix
me.
uses to divide us and control us. Because I feel like we're so much more than just one little word. But if you're gonna call me something, call me. And then Facebook censors go off and I'm in Facebook jail now for 30 days. Plus I talk about medical freedom, so it's like a double whammy for me.
Oh my God. The wild naked man denies the existence of viruses, and he just like talks about all this crazy shit
Anti-vax.
that I didn't learn about, and I've been going to med school for 5 generations, okay?
Did you actually read the links that I sent?
Oh my God, just
Yeah.
accept that you're gay.
These people comedy.
You're gay, you're gay, you're gay, honey.
The word that I was called most in high school was, and I just love the intensity of that word. And I guess it's like how some black people reappropriate the N-word.
Yeah.
I like to reappropriate.
So you experienced like a lot of bullying in school and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like people would like draw cocks
can
in my
tell.
mouth on my student council posters. And I guess they assumed that I was gay because I was a singer. I remember I was living in Manhattan and I was dating this guy. We just, had a great meal and we held each other's hands. Right when we got out, it started to rain, and this guy takes out a switchblade and he's like, "You fucking, I'm gonna get you." And like we ran, and it just like showed me that there still is a lot of like triggering that can happen when 2 men or 2 women are showing love.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I definitely have same-sex attraction, and it's interesting when I do things like detox from glyphosate and atrazine, I start to feel an increase in a procreative urge. The testes tingle around beautiful women, whereas before they were completely, I was cut off from them. The more I retain my seed, the more I eat well, the more I do same-sex erotic bonding, the more pussy I want to eat. So that's what I'm interested in. How can we use same-sex erotic bonding, superfood nutrition, detoxification, so that men can feel more juicy and primal and wild? Lingam means pillar of light in Sanskrit. The cock, the ears are really great places to massage because they've got so many nerve endings in them that relate to the entire body. So in my classes, we get naked and we literally massage our cocks together. And this is called penis reflexology. This is a diagram in terms of penis reflexology. It's a little bit blurry. So basically we massaged each other's heart meridians to help release self-hatred while cuddling and watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it was just so beautiful. And this is what my Celtic ancestors did. They would also suck each other's nipples and share each other's beds before battle. If you do some more digging, Spartans were actually doing same-sex erotic bonding. They believed if you ingested the semen of a big strong man, that you would become a big strong man. And they still do that in tribes that have not yet been contacted by the West. In Papua New Guinea, for example, they actually have to suck as much cock as they can before they hit the age of 20 or 21, and then they can marry a woman. Just to get as much sperm into their bodies as they can, because they believe it, like, it's got testosterone in it too.
Yeah, I love that story.
Manhood. My testicles attract girls from
They
all
take
over
the
the
young
world.
boys or something.
My testicle attract
And a weird.
from all around the world.
My balls produce massive amounts of testosterone.
My balls produce massive amounts of testosterone.
My testicles are an engine of alpha growth.
My testicles are an engine in alpha growth.
Beautiful. So for most of my life, I couldn't feel my balls. Now that I do this ritual regularly, I can actually feel the sperm being produced in my balls, and I feel so much more grounded. I couldn't feel my cock and balls unless I was fully erect. And even when I was fully erect, I couldn't even really feel my nuts. I felt just like there was nothing there. Also, I was sexually abused by a doctor when I was 4, so it was a combination of like a chemical, almost like a chemical castration plus the shaming of the abuse. So the sexual kung fu lineage has literally helped me like feel my balls again, mix the blood and the chi in my nuts, People always say, Will, can I really grow my penis? And I say, yeah, just fucking pull on it.
I witnessed his cock change for sure. Like his cock's gotten bigger.
It was probably flaccid, maybe 2-3 inches. And then erect, it was maybe 5 inches. Now, it's usually about 3 to 4 inches flaccid, and erect, it goes to about 6, just over 6 inches.
So many dudes that I work with and that I've chatted with, actually, I'd say every dude is worried about, is their dick going to be perceived as small? This like fear of like, oh my God, if I show my dick. And this work has helped me to feel like I don't really care about what someone thinks of my dick. I'm just like, this is my dick.
None of you guys have super small dicks.
Thanks.
None of you guys have.
The changes I've noticed in my own genitals, not just localized to that area, it's more so their interconnection to the rest of my body. If I'm engaging in sex with somebody, I'm not just focused on this little, as Will would say, a bubble of awareness in that area. It seems to have coalesced back into a full system where if I'm receiving a hug, for example, my whole body's involved usually, except for my genitals. I seem to be unaware of that. Even in those moments now, my full body's back online. I'm not so much emotionally castrated from one area or not. A full revival of the intrinsic system.
And this is great to do like in a circle with a bunch of naked men, because we communicate subtly through the pelvic consciousness. I call it the testiculum. Kind of like the mycelium network in the forest. The mushroom is the cock and the mycelium are the testicles. So it's like, let them fill with this yang chi, with this yang prana, and exhale, appreciate it, right? Because gratitude is the highest form of yoga. So you're basically blessing your nuts for the upliftment of all of humanity, and you're increasing the frequency of the mini brain of your gonads by smiling and growling into them. And you can do this when you're having sex with a woman. You can thrust. If you're about to ejaculate and you don't want to ejaculate, growl into your balls. It's so powerful. You go, and literally you can feel some of the energy will leave your system and come into your body instead. And she'll probably be more wet because of it, because women like to be ravished. I went to musical theater school. I was actually in Canadian Idol. I made it pretty far. They kicked me off for being too theatrical.
Theatrical, huh?
To fast forward throughout the ages, throughout the last 15 years, I was teaching what we would call like hatha yoga, like stretch yoga. And it was great, but it felt like there was something missing. I started to get into other modalities. I was like, I need more. And also I got addicted to cocaine. So I stopped doing that and I started to look for other ways to get high. Drinking my piss gets me kind of high. I don't know how it works. Doing breath work.
Ayurin. Sayuria.
Inhale. Suspend the breath. Squeeze your anus, sex organ, navel. Shunt the energy up your spine into your pineal. Exhale, keep the energy in your body, round forward, suck your abs in, shunting all this creative energy into the rest of your system.
What do you actually do?
Inhale.
Some meditation techniques, I think.
Cash App, the easy way.
Rewilding is reconnecting to Mother Earth. A lot of yogic lineages that are really popular these days, like Kundalini, is all about connecting to the third eye and to heaven and to other dimensions. But the thing I love about rewilding and sex kung fu, it's about connecting to your balls, your cock, your tribe, and Mother Earth. It's about coming back into that wild state. Instead of being a chihuahua, coming back into that wild wolf state.
This is your body. There's no reason for us to not have access to being free at all times within reason. I think the apprehension that people have in wanting to create a set of rules around that is that so many people have unhealthy associations to their sexuality that they are a danger.
Yes, you have to go to jungle to do this kind of stuff.
Strong boundaries in society. In order to get to a place where you can free the nipple and free the rectum completely, you also have to look at, the shadowy, shitty part of people that would want to take advantage of that or are only doing it as this means of getting away with something. You know, I want to show my genitals to people because there's something unresolved there, as opposed to these are my genitals. It's fucking it. No big deal.
Semen retention. So that doesn't mean you never ejaculate. It means that you increase the time between ejaculating. I mean, if we think about it, a whole new baby
How
can be
many-
created from an ejaculation. So if we're just
many
constantly
months?
ejaculating, we're kind of wasting our life force. So I teach them how to separate orgasm from ejaculation, so then they can choose when they want to come, ejaculate, or shunt that energy upwards.
So when's the last time
Ejaculate, yeah, prostate cancer.
Last night.
What?
Yeah, I can actually show you. This is pretty intense. So me and my buddy Brian did a new moon ejaculation ritual. We wrote what we wanted to let go of, and we ejaculated onto it. So it was actually very powerful, and then we let it dry.
Crusty, this.
That's his. His is a bit more intense.
With the recent ejaculation ceremony we did, my intention was to purge certain energies or certain narratives. Then we do some sex kung fu, so testicular breathing, and then we draw up some of that energy as we're stimulating ourselves, as we're exciting ourselves, so that all the sexual energy doesn't get poured out of the ejaculate. And then eventually we bring ourselves to full ejaculation, and then later we'll burn that paper.
So we're letting go of shame, caring about what other people think, overthinking. I think my comfort zone is shame. So leaving the comfort zone is coming to joy. But it's like, do I deserve to feel so good and so juicy? Because I felt so bad for so long.
And what I really want to say is that gay panic has been brainwashed into all of our psyches, because these types of activities release high amounts of testosterone. They lower competition and comparison. It's a sense of de-armoring. There's far too much competition between men. And if the world's male leaders did this work together, I believe there'd be a lot more peace and camaraderie.
Yeah.
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 I think it's about singing from now on. That was interesting video. This is what makes popular this day. Video this video.